The year is 2030, and Vanderbilt knocks off Florida International to win the college football national championship. And as you could see, that is the reason why we all love Dynasty mode on the NCAA football video games, and it's going to be no different with EA NCAA 25. They just released the trailer. The hype is at an all-time high, and today I'm going to talk about some of the best teams, most chaotic and fun to rebuild in the new mode. Of course, this is all just personal preference. The team that I choose is going to be different than yours, so go in the comments right now and leave the top 3 teams you have an eye on rebuilding in 25. Before we get started, if you don't know who I am, I'm Saturday Shenanigans, and I post amazing college football content all off season long. Feel free to subscribe so you never miss out on another upload. The first team that is in dire need for a rebuild, and the reason I chose this one is because what I saw in week 1 of the 2023 season. I remember flipping on a game, there was nothing else going on. It was UCF versus Kent State, and what I saw from Kent State was absolutely atrocious. They had a brand new head coach last year named Kenny Burns. They went 1-11, and I actually don't blame him. There was so much turnover on the team, but nevertheless, they were one of the worst teams in the Power 5. Plus, how cool would it be to have a MAC team in the national spotlight? MAC plays a lot of their games on Tuesday nights and during the week. Imagine you have a top 10 ranked team playing on a Tuesday night of college football. That would bring in so much hype and excitement during the week. I would actually have something to do. One more thing, Kent State is based in Ohio, and it would be hilarious to see them ranked higher than Ohio State and to pipe down that entire fan base. Figuratively, not literally, in the game. And you know this rebuild would not be easy. It would take a lot of time, a lot of years to get that recruiting, to get that name. But if you are a freak and want to do this on EA NCAA 25, I wish you the best of luck. Next up is the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Now, they're not that horrible in real life. They had a 5-win season in 2023 with second-year head coach Timmy Chang, improving on a 3-10 record from 2022. But imagine this team being elite in paradise. Football in paradise. The recruiting here would go crazy. I want to see this Hawaii team on the same level as they were in 2007. That was their last great season. They went 12-1. They reached the Sugar Bowl. Quarterback Colt Brennan, that was so fun to watch. This rebuild would be a lot more doable than Kent State just because they're in a more established conference with the Mountain West. This team isn't the worst in the Power 5. They are a step above that, so I could very well see this being a solid rebuild. Another team I have an eye on is Florida International, because in the history of their Division I FBS football program since 2004, they never have had a 10-win season. It's hard to say, but this team has never, ever been relevant. They play in a wide open Conference USA every single year, but can never do anything. In 2020, they went 0-5. Then in 2021, they went 1-11. And in 2022 and 2023, they went 4-8 in back-to-back seasons. It would be so fun to see this as a victorious program because they're in Miami. They rep the 305. They wear super cool uniforms. I love their field design. I just love everything about the aesthetic and brand of this team. The only thing they don't have is the success on the field. Imagine FIU gets so good to the point where they take recruits from Miami. I would laugh. Okay, I'm going to transition into a few Power 5 schools real quick. The first is the Indiana Hoosiers, who have not won their conference since 1967. I feel so bad for Indiana fans because they continuously get forgotten in the landscape of college football. Even myself, especially since the fact that the Big Ten is expanding, I am not even going to remember Indiana being in the conference because they are not a football school at all. But that is why we love Dynasty mode, because I know all you Hoosiers fans are going to go immediately into making this program great. Again, the Big Ten is very competitive, so in this rebuild, it'll be difficult to get off the ground, but once you get the ball rolling in that conference, if you can start recruiting with Indiana, that would be amazing to see. Wow, and I just realized that Indiana hasn't won a bowl game since 1991. That might be even worse than the first stat I mentioned. This next team was one of the most electric programs during the 2010s, but had one of the most tragic fall-offs in college football. Stanford is coming off 3 straight 3-9 seasons. They lost all of their momentum with guys like Christian McCaffrey, Andrew Luck, Toby Gerhart. I can name so many more, but it is sad to see. Fortunately, since they were competitive once, I believe they could do it again. Although college football is changing with the era of the transfer portal, NIL, I still think there's a place for Stanford to win. So will you be the one taking the challenge and coaching the Cardinal in EA NCAA 25? I know I'm not. I'm a Cal fan. I'm not going to play with Stanford. This next one is personal. It's Oregon State. Yes, I go there. I'm a student there. Go Beavs. And I am so tired about the disrespect around this program. Getting left out of the new Power 4 is a slap on the face. So you know what I'm going to do in the new game? I'm going to make them the best program of all time. I'm actually going to say screw conferences. We don't need you anyways, and we are going to be the second coming of Notre Dame. But even better than Notre Dame, because we're not going to choke huge bowl games year after year. Corvallis is a great college town. They have an amazing fan base. Beaver Nation is always there. Newly renovated stadium. Oh yeah, this is going to be an amazing rebuild. The Delaware Blue Hens, and you might think, wait, who even is that? Yes, they're moving into the FBS this year. They have been a solid program in the FCS for years. Not elite though. They're not on the same level of South Dakota State or Montana State or North Dakota State, but this will be a fun program going into the new Conference USA. This rebuild will be challenging because making the jump, we've often seen teams struggle doing that. Not James Madison, that was a complete outlier last year, but nevertheless, I would love to see Delaware go crazy. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I didn't even know Delaware had a university until they were announced in the FBS. Delaware is so irrelevant. It's so small in the Northeast. I don't know anything about that. I'm a West Coast kid, but screw it. I actually might choose them in my first go around on the game. The New Mexico Lobos, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This team is dog poop. Here in 2023, they're consistently in the basement of the Mountain West, and I am tired of seeing the same teams win the Mountain West, like Boise State every single year. You could throw Fresno State in there. Those teams are kind of always in the mix. I want to see someone new win it. Imagine New Mexico coming out of nowhere and being the slayer of the Mountain West Conference. Finally, to end this list, I have to mention it. It wouldn't be a dynasty rebuild list without the biggest meme in college football, the Vanderbilt Commodores. And plus, I also just wanted to put them in the thumbnail to get more clicks because I think this is a very popular team. Everyone talks about Vanderbilt. They talk about their stadium. They talk about how bad they are. So I kind of have to sell out here by putting them on the list. They haven't won a bowl game since 2013. They haven't won their conference since 1923. Oh my gosh. They went 2-10 in 2021. And they also went 2-10 in 2023, going 0-8 in the SEC both of those years. But once we all rebuild Vandy on the game, I think Georgia has to watch out. I think Alabama has to watch out. LSU's got to watch out because this is going to be the next great team in the SEC. Lock in. I'm just laughing because that video was super funny. It was super careless. I like that. I've been getting too serious recently about going XYZ in a video, having to be perfect. But that one, I'm just be myself. I'm going to show my opinion. I feel like you guys really like that. It's a whole vibe. If you guys are hyped for the college football game we've waited 11 years for, go smash that like button so this video can reach as many college football fans as possible. Also, I'm open to hearing brand new video ideas from you guys, so go leave it in the comments if you want me to do something specific. And as always, thank you for reaching the end of the video. I've been Saturday Shenanigans, your home for unfiltered college football content, and I'll see you guys soon.